welcome back to Swine Time with breaking news with your hosts Allison Lee and
Brooke Butler.
For context, a CAFO is what we'll be talking about this evening. A CAFO is a concentrated animal feeding operation, otherwise known as a farm.
And now to Iceland, who is going to tell us a brief history on swines in North Carolina.
Some brief history on swine in North Carolina. In 1918, W. Shea moved to Raleigh to head swine extension, and he gained a reputation as the father of the North Carolina commercial swine industry. In 1961, a swine evaluation station was established, and in 1962, the North Carolina Pork Producers Association Incorporated was chartered for promotion, research, and education. The Swine Development Center near Rocky Mountain was built in 1965 to demonstrate the finer points of swine production. In the late 1970s, as many as 200,000 feeder pigs moved through 10 organized quality and graded feeder pig sales annually. By the early 1980s, the state gained the distinction of having more large herds than any other state. In 1989, North Carolina had 70 herds with more than 1,000 sows each, and Sampson County was the top-ranked county in the nation for hog production. This graph shows the increasing amount of CAFOs in North Carolina, other states, and the U.S. as a whole. The map shows the concentration of CAFO farms in the eastern part of the U.S., and this map of North Carolina shows a closer view of the concentration of CAFOs in North Carolina.
Thank you, Iceland, for that brief history.
Now we'll be moving on to Iceland with an interview with CAFO neighbor Fred Thompson.
Thank you, Brooke and Allison. I am Iceland Hernandez, and here is Fred Thompson. So, how do you feel about living next to a CAFO farm?
Is that them hog farms?
Yeah.
I mean, it causes a lot of problems. I ain't gonna lie about it. I wake up in the morning, the stench is just incredible. It makes me nauseous. I feel sick to my stomach. My eyes recently, not even recently, they've been burning for a while now, just like the fumes in the air. You know what I'm saying? And like, I get anxious and annoyed, and my clothing, I used to hang my clothing out to dry, and they'd get like this film on them. It would be that manure. It stank, and it's constantly here. It even looks like the air looks like a little smoggier from it. Yeah.
Thank you, and now back to you.
Thank you, Iceland, for that wonderful interview with Mr. Thompson. I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, for your anxiety and manure-due clothing. Like Mr. Thompson, there are other residential people that experience health effects from these CAFOs.
Yes, pathogens are produced from animal manure. Manure particles can be found on neighbors' cars and clothes on clotheslines, like Mr. Thompson experienced. Pathogens can be parasites, bacteria, or viruses that can cause disease or infection in animals and humans. There are approximately 150 pathogens found in animal manure. Some of these can cause anthrax, tetanus, ringworm, or salmonella.
Another residential health effect that people may be experiencing is groundwater contaminated with those pathogenic organisms, that groundwater being used as drinking water, causing diseases in these humans. Also, people living near CAFOs may experience a lower quality of life and increased mental health. A study that was held found that levels of hydrogen sulfide positively correlated to residents feeling stressed and anxious, similarly to Mr. Thompson.
And now, we'll take you back to Iceland with an exclusive interview with a local farmer who's experienced the effects of CAFO.
Back to you, Iceland.
Thank you, Allison and Brooke. I am here with Wayne DeRock. So, how do you feel about living next to these big CAFO farms as a small farmer?
It's been really hard. My property value's decreasing a lot because nobody wants to live near one of them farms. I've been losing a lot of customers and places to export all my material to because they produce so much meat. But on top of all that, their waste is way more than mine. But it's just production. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they treat anything. It's just all about them. You know? Yeah.
Thank you. And now back to you guys.
Thank you, Iceland, for that compelling interview with Wayne Durant. Not only are there economic issues involved with CAFOs, but there are also environmental issues, such as air quality issues. Brooke?
Yes. Livestock operations encompass 18% of all the greenhouse gas emissions across the globe and are responsible for about 7% of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. The manure on CAFOs produce methane and nitrous oxide, which are respectively 23 and 300 times more potent than the most common greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide. Also, manure applied to farmland for fertilization usually emits ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, methane, and particulate matter. Gaseous emissions following land application of manure occur in two waves, one immediately following application and one that occurs later over a longer period of time when substances in the soil begin to break down.
Not only are there air quality issues associated with CAFOs, but there are also water quality issues. Ammonia is commonly found in surface water surrounding CAFOs. Ammonia is responsible for the depletion of oxygen in water, which has the potential to kill aquatic species. Ammonia also has the capability of converting into nitrates, which can lead to nutrient overloads in waters, resulting in algal blooms. Algal blooms themselves can result in a variety of downhill spirals in ecosystems. When groundwater is contaminated with CAFOs due to runoff and manure of land application, manure land application is the application of manure to help fertilize vegetation on farms. Groundwater that has been contaminated with pathogenic organisms can be used as drinking water for humans, causing a variety of diseases among humans. Unfortunately, these pathogens survive longer in groundwater than surface water because of the lower temperatures and the protection from sunlight. Therefore, these pathogens can make their way into sediments and lower groundwater levels.
In response to these health, environmental, and economic impacts, laws and acts have been created to help manage CAFOs. Allison?
Yes, the Environmental Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES, was created to set limitations and guidelines for CAFOs. This 2003 NPDES law required all CAFOs to apply for a NPDES permit and to implement a nutrient management plan. However, this law was appealed by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. The new law created required all CAFOs that were a pollution threat to apply for a permit. This permit included a nutrient management plan to help the CAFOs properly get rid of waste. In response to these health effects taking place on residents near hog farms, a North Carolina couple filed a nuisance lawsuit against Smithfield Foods.
Wait, did you hear who they're owned by now?
Oh my swine, no I didn't.
The WH Group, a China-based company.
I would have never known. Did you know that Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork producer, despite their swarms of flies, stench, rumbling trucks, and other horrid characteristics?
I didn't. That's so porky.
Oh my goodness. During this lawsuit, this couple was awarded $25 million. This is the second verdict for hog farm neighbors in a series of lawsuits filed against Smithfield Foods. Smithfield Foods needs to get their act together. Thank you for having a fine time with us at Swine Time. See you next time.
Thank you, and good night.